And another thing I was realizing in my son's case was that because of using of Avaz, his anxiety levels had really reduced. When my son was, his problem was diagnosed, he was 22 months old. And when he was about 4 years old, by the time, I think all I was doing in those 2 years was to take him for an assessment to a doctor or to a therapist, or to take him for various therapies. And that had made him extremely anxious. I had realized that whenever I would even take him to a relative's house, a known house to him, he would feel extremely nervous and anxious, and he would not want to go in the house. And that went away after, a few vacations. And I realized that when we do regular speech therapy, we put a lot of expectations pressure on a child. So there is an anxiety of performance. Child understand that he or she has to perform. All right. So that really got reduced with the support of Avaz. So when we say the child's basic right to communication, then this is what we mean, that the child has a problem. That is why he or she is not able to communicate. So we should use something like this, which we are using as a support tool. It in any way does not mean that we are replacing our regular speech therapy or ABA therapy or RPM or any other therapy which we are doing to help our child, that we are stopping that and using Avaz. We are continuing all that. In my life, not even a single therapy has been stopped after introducing Avaz. And now I would like to bring you, to share with you two instances which happened in my life. In 2018, my daughter was sick, and then my son Agastya was sick for all, and I didn't realize, I have no family support in Bangalore, that for about 10-12 days I had barely slept. And one of these days, early morning, I had a seizure for the first time in my life because of extreme fatigue and lack of sleep. And that was a very, very emergency situation. My husband rushed me to hospital, and I was unconscious that whole day. I came back to my consciousness only in the evening. And my son and my younger twins, they were in the house with a new helper staff. That girl was very new. She did not understand how to deal with Agastya, and my husband could not come home at all that day. The situation was so critical. And when I got discharged from the hospital after 3 days, I came back home, and I was extremely pleased to know from my helper staff that in my absence, Agastya used Avaz with them to communicate. Agastya wanted to eat. One second, I'll just share my screen once again. Agastya wanted to communicate that he wanted to eat French fries. So, and Agastya knew that in the freezer there were frozen French fries lying. So Agastya went to the McDonald's folder, in the restaurant folder. He showed her French fries, and then there was a cooking folder in my device in Avaz. He showed her that, and he went to make folder. Make. And he showed her fry papad. There is a fry papad folder. So he showed her fry word from there. Now I have fry frozen French fries folder. That time I didn't have. And then another instance was that she served him tea, and Agastya wanted to eat cake rusk. So he went to the food folder. Places to eat. And he went to Chai Point, and he showed her cake rusk from here. So, it's a very simple example, and he was happy in those 3 days. It's not that he was crying or whining or feeling frustrated, because first time in his life, he was not attended by either me or my husband. He was able to communicate all his needs to that new person in the house, all right, without any difficulty. So when I came back, I was extremely pleased to hear this. And I also realized that we people, special need parents, keep thinking that what will happen to our child after us. But after us, God only knows when will happen. But in short term also, emergency situations can come up. So it's very important that we prepare our child for that. So that really reaffirmed my faith in an AAC device, that I am catering to my child's basic right here.